first half.
Well, there's no appreciable running yardage by either team. They're not controlling the football game in that respect. But, of course, Elway has had the advantage passing, and a couple of turnovers on the Chiefs side have led to at least one score.
One interception down on the goal line and one fumble, and the fumble led directly to Sammy Winder's little burst of about 1.5 yards for a touchdown.
A stat that you didn't see is third down conversion. Denver is 4 of 4 in third down conversions, and if Kansas City is going to hang in this football game, they must shut down that particular aspect of their defense.
Chiefs will be kicking off to start the second half, and this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Broncos going way deep in the end zone. It's Kenny Bell back there with no opportunity for a run back. He and Jason Johnson were the return men. So Elway comes out to start from the 20-yard line, and we want to update one of the injury reports that Klosterman, who was injured for the Broncos in the first half, has a pinched nerve, and he will not be able to see action in the second half. And also, we've just been advised that Kevin Ross, the right corner for the Chiefs, has a bruised shoulder and is not expected to return. So
that's a big loss.
That could be a real key loss, with Burris, of course, not able to make the trip as part of the injured secondary for the Chiefs. First play from scrimmage, third quarter action underway. And on the ground, it's Winder with nothing working whatsoever. Tim Cofield with a good burst there in penetration to make that initial tackle. Check the standings coming into this one in the AFC West. Seattle with the advantage of 5 and 4, of just a game over Denver. Denver 4-5, as you can see. Seattle playing one of the late games, and the Raiders playing against San Diego even later this evening. Kansas City at 1-7-1, bringing up the bottom. But remember, 3 of the losses by 1 point, and 4 of the losses by a total of 6.
See if Elway goes right at J.C. Pearson, who is the replacement for Kevin Ross on the right corner.
Sewell was the motion back, and Elway, looking for against the pressure, is dropped. At the 15-yard line, it's Cofield who is there. Neil Smith had the initial push up the middle and some help from Gary Baldinger, and the pressure getting to Elway for one of the few times today.
Neil Smith is coming on in this football game. He is beginning to show that upfield rush that they're looking for. Number 90. Tim Cofield, number 54, gets the sack, but it was Smith that forced him out of the pocket.
The Chiefs have accounted defensively for 18 sacks this season. It's a number that Frank Yance would love to see multiply. Pressure on the quarterback, one of the keys always.
Here's where they have to shut down the Broncos in third down situations.
Setting up at the 6-yard line and firing to the far sideline. Natil, the intended receiver, at the 38, but no opportunity for him to get over there, and he was working on J.C. Pearson.
And it was a good pattern by Natil, who had spun Pearson around and was running free, and Elway overthrew the football.
Just underway. We got a little conversation going on down here. Neil Smith is really getting into this ball game. He was having a serious discussion down there with the officials.
All right, you watch number 90, Neil Smith, on Jim Juriga. It's Gerald Wilhite helping out. You're going to watch the snap. This is the first punt of the ball game for Denver, and if you watch number 54, Keith Bishop, he has a cast on his hand, and it's, see how well he snaps this ball with that thing on his hand.
Moran, the left-footed kicker, has a great average, best in the National Football League, but this was not a good kick. It's not even going to get to midfield, not even going to get close to midfield. They're going to mark it out of bounds, perhaps inside the... Oh, they're going clear down to inside the 35-yard line.
Just missed it. Plain missed that punt.
Mike Horan, who comes in with an average of 44.8 and a net average of 40 yards.
You take a
look at this.
Well, watch it. It's just not a good hit.
Knew it immediately.
And Horan is trying to become the first man in the history of the National Football League to average better than 40 yards per net kick.
19 yards on that kick, and the Chiefs have possession of 34 at the 34 in the Bronco territory, and it's suddenly gotten very quiet at Mile High Stadium. Saxon in motion, hand off to Herman Hurd, working the right side, gets down to about the 31-yard line. A lot of orange there stacked up to make the stop that time on Herman Hurd, who carries for only the second time of the ball game.
This is an excellent opportunity for the Chiefs to change the complexion of this football game right now. They have outstanding field position. They have a kicker in Nick Lowry who probably guarantees them 3 points at this point. So the thing that they have to do is get the good protection and do not turn the football over to the Broncos.
Hurd and Okoye are the setbacks now. Carlos Carson in motion. Hurd once again.
Good run.
Nice little move that time to get to the 25-yard line. Herman Hurd, who makes his offseason home in Denver.
Talked about how the nose tackle has to have a good day if you're going to stop the opponent from running the football. Number 71, Greg Cragen, has 58, Tom Baugh on him. Baugh does an outstanding job against Cragen. Although Cragen does get into the action and makes the tackle, he does it after the ball carrier has picked up about 8 yards.
One of the things that caught my eye on that replay, too, is you see Christian Okoye coming through there with that lead block working to the right side. He was really working effectively and pushing the defender back. About a foot short of the first down.
And that's why the Chiefs want to get Herman Hurd active and get him some activity out of that backfield, because you saw how good his footwork was in the hole. He made some nice little side steps to get back up into the hole, and he's an excellent halfback. I mean, he catches the football, he runs it, he can block, and Herman Hurd is a very good player.
Missed 4 games this season because of an injured shoulder. And he now is still in the backfield with Okoye, although they swap positions in this particular offensive set. 3rd and short. Hurd in motion. Straight ahead for the first down is Kenny right up over the top. Bill Kenny, who played his college ball at Northern Colorado, also no stranger to this area, getting the first down.
Just before the half ended, we talked about how tough. You take a look at the quarterback sneak here for the first down. That's Bill Kenny getting up and over. We talked about how tough the Chiefs are. Even though they're 1-7-1, they play tough all game long. They swarm to the football. They give everything they have. And right now, they're getting right back into this football game with the Denver Broncos.
Interesting parallel in recent years to Cincinnati, to Buffalo, who are on the verge of trying to get good things going. You wonder if that could be the case with the Chiefs. You see Hurd struggling for yardage that time, and also a little activity between Michael Brooks and Okoye.
Continuing on with that thought, Gary, it's a football team that is very close. I mean, you take a look at their season. They've had a bad call here and there by an official. They've had a drop pass here and there that could have meant a touchdown or a win. They've played 3 one-point games in which they've lost. So you're talking about a football game that has a football team that has very good talent. They're coached very well. I think they're very close to being maybe a good football team soon.
Second down from the Denver 22 for the Chiefs, who trail 14-5. Early third quarter action. Pressure against Kenny. Fires, finds his man. Page trying to break loose at the 13. Wiggles down to maybe the 12-yard line. Looks like that may be good for the first down. Jeremiah Castile with the tackle on Page. Page had that one critical fumble in the first half that led to a Denver touchdown.
Stephon knows exactly where he is on the field. That's good. He knows where he needs to get the first down. Watch him stretch here looking for the first down. He won't go down because he wants to pick up the first down.
Took a couple of extra hits because of that effort, but he got himself the first down.
Well, he can play.
Now that, I believe, is the 10th first down of the ball game for the Chiefs. That equals the 10 they had last week against the Raiders, and Gans was delighted with 10 last week, and they got 10 early in the second half of this one. That's one of the areas that's looking up. Christian Okoye bulling his way inside the 10 to about the 9 and then thrown back. Michael Brooks there, and also Walt Boyer.
Here's what we were talking about when we were talking about how close this football team is to being a good football team. 4 of 6 losses have been by a total of 6 points.
Their only win came against the Denver Broncos. They had the tie, which was against the New York Jets at New York at 17-17. That's been the only real satisfaction of the year as far as the Chiefs are concerned. They threaten now with the football in Denver territory. This is Palmer. Nobody touches it. Palmer in his frustration as he slipped down, then lost the football. Rick Dennison there, and the Broncos come up with another huge turnover.
It's just the one thing that I was just talking about that can take them out of the ball game is the turnover. You just simply can't have that happen to you. I I'm at a loss of words when I see something like that happening.
Well, we'll get a chance to take another look at that play after we take this commercial timeout.
Imagination, creation, application. At GTE, we know the power of people. At GTE, that power becomes an operator's voice when you need it most. Your company's telecommunications system, a nightlight for your child. One-to-one, person-to-person, GTE to you. It's the power of the human touch. And at GTE, the power is on.
Bring on the city, bring on the night. If you like to drive, the '89 Grand Prix is a car you're gonna love. Pontiac guarantees it. Yeah! Pontiac! Get on your Pontiac! Take 30 days after you buy your new '89 Grand Prix to make sure it's the ride of your life. If it isn't, bring it back. Your selling dealer will give you full credit toward another new Pontiac. Grand Prix. Rebuild excitement. Guaranteed.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Today's game is brought to you by Pontiac. We build excitement. By Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows. And by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be.
Broncos ready to put the ball in play from their own 13-yard line after Paul Palmer, who has to be just devastated by that turn of events, fumbled when nobody touched him. Get a chance to take a look after this play. Here's Winder. He's been the prime ball carrier for the Broncos with a good little burst across the 20. Let's go back to that fumble now and take another look.
You know, some things aren't describable, and when you talk about what's wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs, how do you explain this? I mean, no one hits him, and no one touches him or tackles him. He just loses the football, and that takes you right out of the football game, and that could cost you the football game.
Sole figure on the far sidelines, and you know that he has to be a distraught young man right now, trying to look past it, hoping to get a chance to atone. This is Winder once again, and he has the first down for the Broncos out across the 25-yard line. Dino Hackett and Kevin Porter teaming up for the tackle. Update other scores here as Winder walks back and gets set for the next play. Buffalo by 7 over Seattle. It's a big game. The Broncos keeping a close eye on that Seattle score. Washington by a field goal over the Saints. San Francisco still throwing the shutout, and Indianapolis by a field goal over the Jets. All third quarter scores. 14-5 the score in this one, with Denver leading Kansas City. The Chiefs have had 3 turnovers, and 2 of them have been just brutal. Sammy Winder again across the 30 to 31-yard line. He had a 100-yard rushing effort against San Francisco. That was a ball game that the Broncos won 16-13, and he has become the workhorse all of a sudden.
Broncos are getting good yardage, and they're taking the ball right up inside. Billy Bryan, number 64, is doing a very good job on Gary Baldinger, number 91. You see Gerald Perry coming around on the pull right there, and Jack Del Rio making the tackle. It was a good block by Billy Bryan on the nose tackle.
Second down. Denver with a football. This is Tony Dorsett trying to pick his way out close to the 35. It's hit emphatically by Del Rio and Deron Cherry.
Dorsett just doesn't appear to be the factor as a runner in the ball game, or that the Denver Broncos thought he would be when they acquired him. And I know this week Tony Dorsett said that, blame me if you're looking for someone to blame. I'm the reason why we're 4-5. Of course, we know that's not true, but this man has had a great career.
Oh, the numbers that he has put up, second only to Walter Payton. Third down coming up for Elway. He has Natil in motion. Pressure coming. They pick it up, and the pass is completed. Johnson out at the 47-yard line. J.C. Pearson making the tackle after Vance Johnson pulls in his 5th ball of the day, and he comes up with a first down.
That's what I mean by Vance Johnson elevating his game to maybe where he may be considered one of the premier receivers. When you come across the middle this way, you make the tough catch, and watch the hit here up high. That's tough business, folks. I can tell you that hurts. And he maintains possession of the football. You get a lot of respect from defensive backs when they see that you'll do that.
Johnson wide to the near side this time, 60 yards on those 5 receptions. Pitch out going in the other direction, and again it's Winder. It's a couple. Mike Stensrud had an interception early in the ball game, and that was one of the interesting calls as far as Kansas City was concerned of the first half, when Stensrud managed to lumber from the vicinity of the goal line all the way out to midfield, only to have a penalty nullify a portion of the run back. Chiefs have had Elway's number, so to speak, over the years that Elway has been the starting quarterback. In 9 games, the Chiefs have intercepted Elway 18 times, and John has only thrown 4 touchdowns coming into this ball game, and he has 1 today.
And he isn't forcing the ball deep in this ball game. He is taking the short passes, and I think that has hurt him in the past. He has tried to get the ball deep.
Penalty marker down as Elway with a pump fake. Now decides that he's going to have to run to the sideline, and he throws it away as he gets hit. And they're looking. The crowd wants a penalty marker there, but they don't get it. Leonard Griffin was the man who was chasing Elway out of bounds.
Well, 2 things. Leonard Griffin couldn't hold up, and secondly, I'm surprised. Who was John throwing that football to?
Motion indication, the call. It will work against the Broncos.
Let's take another look at this, because the rules say you cannot get rid of the football to avoid a sack that is imminent. Now, where is he throwing the football?
There is a motion. Number 88, offense. Penalty declined. 3rd down.
Penalty is on Clarence Kay, and I think you build a pretty good point there, Mr. Rucker, because you could tell that way. You couldn't see the field, but the way John was throwing the ball,
and
clearly the intent was just, I got to get rid of this football.
I was closer to Elway than his receivers was. Now watch this. You cannot get rid of the ball to avoid a sack. No, I mean, he didn't even look. They missed that one.
4 wide receivers in now for a 3rd down situation. Broncos need 8+, close to 9. 5:44 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and a 14-5 Denver lead over Kansas City. Elway backpedaling out of the shotgun, setting up against the pressure. This one is picked off by Hill. Greg Hill across the 40, and he's got some room to work. Pulled down from behind at the 43-yard line by Ricky Natil, and that's the 19th interception that John Elway has thrown. Well, make it 20. We forgot the one that Stensrud had early in the first half.
And that's the first time today that Elway forces the football. Now, you're going to see him throw the football. You may not see a Denver player. You're going to see all Kansas City Chiefs. You see any? See? There are 4 or 5 white shirts there and only 1 Denver Bronco. He should not have thrown that football.
We'll be back with more from Mile High Stadium. Just picked off the Elway pass that gives Kenny and the Chiefs possession now in Bronco territory. 14-5. Denver leading this one in the 3rd quarter at Mile High Stadium. And Kenny looking at some pressure, steps up, has time, flips it out here. Oh, nice catch at about the 29-yard line by Stephon Page. That's his 3rd reception of the day.
And this is the same pattern that Stephon Page has had success with in the first half. It's the same one that he fumbled on after making the catch. Bill Kenny gets the ball out. Now watch, I mean, he does wonderful work with his feet in terms of making the catch and getting his feet down in time so that they can make it a valid catch.
Now you go back. Had the Chiefs been able to get even 3 points in that last possession before the Palmer fumble,
this could be a go-ahead drive.
It'd be a whole different situation. As it is, they're still struggling to catch up, to get within striking distance. Herman Hurd, right side, cuts back into the middle and gets to the 26-yard line before Michael Brooks has the tackle. New Orleans has gone back in front of Washington now, still in the 3rd quarter in that big game involving the National Conference. Buffalo over Seattle, low-scoring contest. Indianapolis with a 10-point advantage, I believe that was. We got a quick look there over the Jets.
Washington is in danger of going 5-5, and we told you that no team has failed to make the playoffs after going to the Super Bowl. 2 teams are in danger of doing that, Denver and Washington.
On the 26-yard line, 2nd down, Kansas City. And he trying to clarify something to one of the wide receivers on the left side. fires over the middle, completes it to the tight end. Jonathan Hayes gets inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Jonathan Hayes, who caught only 3 balls this season coming into this game, has now added a pair in this contest.
I think this is the way offensive coordinator George Sefcik would like to see this offense operate. Good protection. They get the ball off real quickly. There's a man open there, so why not get him the football? Don't hold the football and take sacks and throw interceptions when you have someone short who is open and you can get the football to. That time they got the ball to Jonathan Hayes. He made the nice catch. It's another first down for Kansas City.
4:03 to play, third quarter in Denver. Chiefs on the move once again. Last time they fumbled just about this spot in the field. This is Herman Hurd carrying this time, and another good run by Hurd as he gets inside the 15 and gets down close to the 12-yard line.
Boy, he's good in there. He seems to find yardage that just isn't there.
Didn't look like there was much to work with, but he made it happen.
This is not a beautiful thing to watch, but I tell you what, it's a very, very good run by a man who didn't have anything there. He's just clawing and scratching and taking whatever he can get.
Herman Hurd came into the ballgame with only 25 carries for the season, so it's not as if he's had an abundance of work. He's got the football once again. This time he gets to the 11-yard line. Get another look at that panel that we had a fleeting glimpse of. In fact, San Francisco has now extended the lead on Phoenix, and it is the Colts by 10 over the Jets.
Colts trying to get back into the playoff picture. Wild card action.
Yes, indeed. They've really generated some momentum here in the last couple of weeks. Ball at the 11-yard line. Third down play coming up for Kansas City. They trail it 14-5, 2:45 left to go in the third quarter.
The Chiefs go back with Paul Palmer in the backfield, which might mean that they might be looking for some kind of pass to him.
Noise level escalating dramatically. Kenny has this one knocked down. The man getting the hand in there was Simon Fletcher. We saw his extension earlier, and in the background you could see the reaction of Frank Gans on the sideline, banging his fist and turning his back. Now had a hand in the pocket saying, what in the world do we have to do to get into the end zone? Field goal opportunity coming up for Nick Lowry, who hit one earlier.
There's Kenny once again going right back to the right side, and number 73, 6'5" tall Simon Fletcher getting up there once again to deflect that pass.
Lowry hit from 46 yards earlier. This one will be from 29. He's missed only once this season. Had his streak broken last week, and he puts this one cleanly through. So the Chiefs struggling, but still managing to get back into it. Interesting ball game unfolding with 2:29 to go. Third quarter. It's now 14-8. Denver still on top. Wants to know right now, when Lowry gets a great kick like that and puts it about 6 yards deep in the end zone, and they're going to bring it out to the 20, Can's not real pleased with that particular call.
Thank you.
Resetting the game clock, which at the moment shows 2:23.
Please reset to 2:29.
Well, keep the leg warm, Nick. He'll come out here and do it again. 29-yard field goal with a 46-yarder, counting for 6 of the Chiefs' 8 points. The other 2 coming on the first offensive play of the game for the Broncos when Tony Dorsett took a pitch out on an unexpected sweep from the 1-yard line and was drilled by Dino Hackett. So the Chiefs have accounted for their points in rather unusual ways here today. They've turned the ball over 3 times, and a couple of those have really been costly. Gave up almost certain 3 points because of a fumble. They gave up a touchdown because of a fumble. Well, the clock has been reestablished at 2:29, and Lowry goes pacing off his steps once again, and we'll try this whole drill one more time. Headed for the same area. This one not going to be quite as long, about a yard deep this time, and Bell elects to bring it out. And he stumbles almost without being hit and gets right to the 20-yard line. Just about where they were going to put it anyhow. Greg Hill downfield, the man who made an interception against Elway a little while ago to make the tackle. And one of the Chiefs is shaken up, and that's Hill, who just made the stop on the special teams.
Kansas City is running out of defensive backs fast.
They came with only 44 players, and they've had a couple of injuries that have shaken up their talent further. We'll be back.
Leading 14-7, but the Colts with 17 unanswered points. Indy quarterback Chris Chandler back to pass, can't find anybody. Heads up the right sideline, goes 28 yards for the score. Colts now lead 24-14. Let's go back to Denver.
On the sideline, Greg Hill getting an ankle retaped. Does not appear to be a serious injury. Broncos have the ball from their own 20-yard line, first down. Elway steps out of the pocket. He lets the run. Now he goes into the slide at the 23-yard line. Elway showing a lot more mobility here. 2 or 3 times today he has scrambled rather effectively out of the pocket. He hasn't had any big numbers in this ball game, and he hasn't had, this is the worst rushing season that he's had in his career.
The reason why he hasn't had big numbers in this ball game is because this is an excellent secondary, and they are covering even tighter in the second half. And on a number of occasions, Elway has no one to throw to, and he has taken off with the run.
It's a career rushing average of 4 3/4 yards, and this season it's been down about 3 1/3 yards. He's ready to pass this time, and this one is caught, I believe, at the 36-yard line. Yes, indeed, it is caught by Mark Jackson. That's his 3rd reception of the day. J.C. Pearson was the man he was working on, and we take another look.
These are the kinds of receptions you have to make against this secondary. They will allow you to catch the ball short, but they won't give you anything deep. And of course, Mark Jackson that time coming back with that familiar sideline pattern and getting down low to make that catch. That's what they're giving up. They're not giving up anything inside or deep.
Jackson came into the ball game with 11 receptions on the season. As we mentioned, he has 3 in this contest today. Orson Mobley, the tight end, in motion. Pitch out goes to Sewell on a reverse. Up in the air. Jackson grabs it. Can't get too far, only to about the 39 or 40-yard line before Baldinger puts him down. And you notice that almost after every tackle here lately, Chiefs getting a little extra push. Jackson's been on the receiving end of that push the last couple of times. And that previous pass, it was J.C. Pearson who gave him a little bump for emphasis.
This was potential disaster for Denver. Sewell will get the ball. He will reverse it on the handoff to Jackson, who just doesn't handle it. Fortunately for Denver, it comes right back to him, but nothing much on the reverse attempt.
Second down, they picked up close to 5 yards. Ball at the 40-yard line. Broncos lead this one 14-8 against the Chiefs. The Chiefs who beat Denver early in the season for Kansas City's only win. Snipes with pressure. They pick it up. Elway fires, incomplete. He was looking for the tight end Clarence Kay at about the 32-yard line. Ball was just overthrown. But the reaction and a good look at John Elway there.
I'd be careful throwing the football around Duran Cherry. And a couple of the Chiefs are arguing amongst themselves, Neil Smith and Angelo Snipes. Snipes is trying to get Smith to calm down. You don't need an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at this point. You got a good ball game going. You've got a chance to win it, and they don't need anything foolish from him.
14-8, and you see just 6 seconds left to go here in this 3rd quarter at Denver's Mile High Stadium. Have a high overcast today, but on the mild side, temperatures were expected to be in the low 60s. 3rd and 5. The Broncos, as you saw, 5 of 7 in the 3rd down department.
Free play.
Penalty markers down. Another penalty marker downfield, and almost pulled in at the 22-yard line by Vance Johnson.
See, that's why when you have a rookie like Neil Smith and he kind of loses his composure, you need to calm him down quickly because he loses his concentration. Now, what happens on the next play? Elway draws him right offside and gets a free play.
Also had a penalty marker deep in the secondary as well.
Well, we know one penalty will go against Kansas City. Both penalties.
Both of them worked against the Chiefs. So Elway now will
take the major. This is called a minor and a major.
Frank Gans with a couple of words there for the rookie Neil Smith. Smith came to the sideline too, and I don't think that the head coach was a real happy man at the moment. Yeah, that look says a couple of things, doesn't it? Interesting man. We've enjoyed the couple of times we've done ball games with Kansas City this year, spending time with Frank Gans. It's always interesting when you get a chance to talk with head coaches and get to know them better. But they talk about his success at motivating his men.
Defensive offside is declined. The defensive holding on number 24 is accepted. It is a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. The defensive foul on the last play of the 3rd period It's accepted we extend the period by 1 on-time down.
Well, Gordon McCarter with a real mouthful that time for us as he unravels all of the goings-on, and we will have one more play before this quarter is complete.
Of course, folks know about the half or the game cannot end on a defensive penalty. It's the same thing for a foul at the end of a quarter, and that's why even though time has run out in the third quarter, the Broncos will get one more play.
They have the first down now from their own 45-yard line and what should be the final play of the quarter. Elway up under center. He has Natil to the near side, and the man in motion is Sewell. Old pump fake, steps up against the pressure, now is going deep on the far side and turning the wrong way. The intended receiver was Mark Jackson. Jackson was looking toward the sidelines, and Elway was looking deep down the middle.
Just excellent coverage by Kansas City. They had that double teamed and had him covered well.
So at the end of the third quarter, our score 14-8 in favor of the Broncos. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. And he's set to start action now in the fourth quarter at Mile High Stadium in Denver. Gary Gerald along with Reggie Rucker. 14-8. Broncos lead this one against Kansas City. Chiefs with 3 turnovers today. The Broncos with a pair. Elway with 1 touchdown pass. Winder going a yard for the Broncos' other score. A pair of Nick Lowry field goals and a safety. And Dorsett was dropped behind the goal line, counting for the 8 Kansas City points. Elway working out of the shotgun in this second down situation. Plenty of time to throw, and he's going for everything. Way down there, and out of the arms at the 6-yard line. Lewis, the defender on Ricky Natil. A lot of boos. They wanted the flag in Denver, and they didn't get it.
2 very fast people right there, Ricky Natil and Albert Lewis. Albert Lewis, I know for a fact, is the fastest player on the Kansas City Chiefs roster. Elway just lets one go. It's just in his nature. Get rich quick. Tries to go on Lewis. Lewis isn't giving up anything deep at all. He plays deep off of the receiver to begin with, and then he has that great speed. He can run with any wide receiver in the league, and you're just not going to get rich going against him on the deep throw.
Well, that was almost a ballet-like movement there as he kind of hung himself out, trying to get over the top without making contact. Elway on third down. Again, protection. He's got a lot of room to run if he wants to. Out of bounds and bumped after he gets out of bounds, and that will result in a penalty marker. Oh, wow. Poor decision there on the part of Calvin Lovell, it appears. Frank Gans having to weather another moment of frustration.
They hit out of bounds, number 22 defense. 15 yards, first down.
First-year player from the University of Idaho with a late hit.
Let's just see how flagrant this thing is. Elway with one of those design rollouts. Can't find anybody. Now watch him go up the sideline, and he's going to step out right out there. And there's Lovell. That's too far out of bounds to put a hit on a quarterback, particularly one like Elway. Yeah, they're going to get you for that every time.
Interesting point with Greg Hill shaken up earlier. He was walking off and has been able to resume some action. But with, we mentioned, of course, a couple of times that Burris is out, but Sidney Johnson also didn't make this trip for Kansas City. Ross, both defensive backs, and with Ross being hurt, they're really thin back there in that department. They just don't have the bodies. Here's Tony Dorsett, one of the few times he's carried the ball. He's got a lot of room. Penalty marker is down. He'll go to the end zone, but will it count? No. They'll bring it back. Tony D. flashing the form that has made him one of the all-time greats in the league. But this one won't work.
I'll tell you one thing, Gary. He showed us one thing. When he's out there on the perimeter, he can still run.
Illegal formation. Number 76, a tackle, was on the end of the line. He failed to report as an eligible player. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's Ken Lanier.
Now it's Dan Reeves' turn to be frustrated.
Number 76, whenever a player wearing an ineligible number comes into the football game, he must report to the officials that he is in the ball game, and Lanier didn't do that. But as I was saying, Dorsett is answering a lot of questions right here. Can he still run? Yes, he runs everybody to the end zone.
Did you see that block that the rookie Gerald Perry had out there in front to open the hole for Dorsett? That was impressive, too. And Reeves said yesterday that this kid Perry is going to be great.
He's 300 pounds.
305, he's listed. Well, they'll try it again.
They might run the same play.
Why not?
Yeah,
There's Dorsett. Again, Perry with a block. No place to go. Dorsett with a moment's hesitation. Chiefs reacted that time very well, and Baldinger and Hackett teamed up for the tackle. Baldinger a little slow getting up.
Pro football teams don't often do this, go back to something immediately after they had success with it. This time the Chiefs are ready for it. Dorsett can't get outside. I guess the Chiefs were thinking it looked so good the first time, why not come back again? But they were waiting for it.
They did that in the first half, not with Dorsett, but they ran an identical play on a quick little pass to the outside to Ricky Natil.
2 times in one game.
In a game.
It's rare.
That. Yeah, that's unusual. Baldinger is kind of jogging off the sidelines at the top of the screen. He was shaken up just a little bit. I think they're trying to count and see how many men they've got on the field. They're hustling another player on now. Baldinger is off, and I honestly didn't see who came running on in his place. I can't tell you who.
Don McLean is in the ball game.
Second down, long yardage. Elway on the near side. This one's complete at the 25-yard line to Vance Johnson.
I'll tell you something, J.C. Pearson doesn't want any part of getting close
really
to Vance Johnson. Yes, I don't blame him.
6th reception of the day for Vance Johnson, and we'll get another look here.
With the speed he has coming right into your face. Watch. The dive, the concentration, the blue glove, the catch, inbounds. Good.
Nice pictures. I want to thank our producer Terry Ewert and our director Brian Sheriff and all of the men and women who made it possible for this telecast today. In a 14-8 ball game at Denver's Mile High Stadium, the Broncos have the lead. Third down, need about 4 or 5. And right over the middle, was almost grabbed at the 19 by Vance Johnson again. Johnson's been all over this field today.
Important play coming up here, Gary. I'll tell you why. This is a very precarious lead that the Broncos have, 14-8. A touchdown beats you. Rich Carlos now will get an opportunity to put them out of reach of that touchdown that could beat you and make the Chiefs have to score twice if they are to come back and win this ball game.
It'll be a 43-yard attempt for Carlos, who is 17 of 23 on the season. Entered the season as the 5th best percentage field goal kicker. Nearly 73%.
Everybody's coming.
Got it on target. It's there. Carlos from 43 yards out. 13:58 to go in the ball game. And that stretches the lead now, or do we have another potential problem here as McCarter again confers? Kubiak says it's okay.
Number 56 on the defense, illegal leverage. He was leaping from behind the line of scrimmage.
Dino Hackett trying to get up in the air and get a hand on the football.
Well, here's a decision,
for Dan
Reeves.
Because you could take away the field goal and get a first down and keep the drive alive.
It's been said never take points off the board, but if I were Dan Reeves, I'd take the first down. I think Elway is going to try to convince him that.
Kubiak is standing out there at the 30-yard line with both hands outraised as if, well, what's the decision? What are we going to do?
It's an automatic first down for one thing, if they want it.
This could be a very interesting turn right here. Is it 17-8 or is it still 14-8?
Let's clear up something while they're talking there. You cannot, from a running start behind the line of scrimmage.
Denver has elected to take the 3 points and accept the penalty on the ensuing kickoff. Penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, I'll get back to the other point, but not a bad call. You know why, Gary? Because keeping the points, it does this for Kansas City. Kansas City has to now score twice to take the lead. You can see number 56, Dino Hackett, coming from behind the line. You cannot, from a standing start, run and leap up over the line because it is unsportsmanlike conduct, and the field goal is good.
17-8 is our situation. We have 13:58 yet to play in Denver.
When it comes to owner loyalty, every domestic and import car division takes a backseat to Ford, because Ford owners in households all over America have proven their loyalty to Ford by buying another Ford.
Winning the world over. Have you been behind the wheel? Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Gillette has changed the face of shaving. First, we made it closer. Then we made it smoother. Atra Plus. Its Lubra Smooth Strip actually releases lubricants to glide the razor more smoothly. Incredible smoothness from the first stroke to the last. The Atra Plus system. First we made it closer, then we made it smoother.
In Ricky Rudd's high-torque V8, clean running, Quaker Safe with QSX provides unbeatable protection from wear and tear.
And the oil that protects my car on the track is the same oil you buy right off the shelf.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
There's a reason why, wherever he goes, Spuds McKenzie has so much fun. He's always in control. Spuds knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Be a good sport. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
Man in the center of the screen, Pat Boland, who is the president, the owner of this ball club. He's got to be somewhat encouraged, but still concerned. They've been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years, and the way things have gone, the last couple of weeks in particular, it has not been a pleasant time for the Broncos administration in this city. They've got rabid fans in Denver, as everyone knows, and people have not been happy with what happened to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, and they've been concerned in this ball game, even though after the field goal, they now have stretched the lead back out 17-8. Carlos gets set for the kickoff. No opportunity for a run back here, as this one, after that penalty, drives it way deep in the end zone. Palmer just watched it soar over his head. So Kenny and company come out. We're starting from the 20-yard line. New Orleans by 7 over Washington. Buffalo, Seattle now in the fourth quarter, still 10-3 in that low-scoring game. San Francisco has given up a touchdown to Phoenix. And Indianapolis is looking a little more comfortable now against the New York Jets. Neil Smith, with a bruised shoulder in the defensive line for Kansas City, is expected to return. A lot of bumps and bruises in this ball game today, both sides.
Bill Kinney is calling an audible at the line of scrimmage.
Taking a lot of time to do it. We've got still 8 seconds on the clock. Handoff goes to Okoye, who powers out to about the 26-yard line. Walt Boyer dragging Okoye down.
We were telling you earlier about winning the 3 phases of the game. Now, this is the offensive phase of the game. The Broncos have put 14 points on the board. The Chiefs 8. The yardage is in favor of the Broncos, and the turnovers in favor of the Broncos. So they're winning this phase of the battle. Defensively, look at the 3 turnovers by the Broncos. They are also winning this phase of the battle. We told you if you win 2 out of the 3, you usually will win the football game.
From the 26-yard line, second down. Kenny right over the top. Getting out to the 34-yard line is Stephon Page. Jim Ryan pulling Page down after Page gets his 4th reception of the day.
Kansas City has to.
Out at the 35-yard line now. Chiefs have been able to move it today, but the offense has only been able to generate a pair of field goals.
There it is.
Going real deep this time. Page is there at the 20-yard line and down at the 15.
Oh, no, he dropped it.
He lost the football. He did not have possession, and when he came down on the ground, he couldn't hang on. Thought he had it all the way against Mark Haynes.
Kansas City set that play up real nicely. Bill Kinney looked left. Watch Kenny now. He's looking over to the right side of the screen. That's to get the free safety out of the middle of the field, Mike Harden, and he does it successfully. Now, Page has run a nice pattern. He has this football. The ball's right there, and he just doesn't hold on to it.
So close.
And here's Kenny. It's been like this all year, folks, for them.
He threw for a 21-yard completion in the first half of this ballgame, his longest pass completed this season for the Chiefs. Short over the top, pulling this one in. Carlos Carson and getting up across the 45 to about the 47. Harden with the tackle, so they go back to work underneath and pick up some yardage on the 4th reception by Carlos.
Here's that same theory once again, trying to get someone with speed to catch the ball quickly and then run for big yardage. Carson does that. You know, as badly as the thing has gone for Kansas City, and the score is 17-8. There's 12 minutes left in the ball game. They're moving the football now. If they get this ball in any shape or fashion, I mean, we've got a ball game once again.
That's why that field goal, if few moments ago by Rich Collis of the Broncos is such a big one, because now the Chiefs are in that situation where they have to score twice. Kenny with good protection has a man. Can he hang on? Yes. Tight end Jonathan Hayes, his third reception today, equaling what he's caught all season long.
And you had to watch for it, Gary. You said, Kenny, hang on, because it seems like Kenny has made some big plays in the passing game, and his receivers have dropped some very important throws. This time it's Jonathan Hayes. We talked about him earlier in the ball game. Very sure-handed receiver. He's the pass catcher of the two tight ends, and that's what you have to do. Ooh, and he bobbled that football and was able to recover.
Jim Ryan, the linebacker, was trying to keep up with him while the strong safety, Dennis Smith, was coming over there.
And this football team never gives up. That's one thing you have to say about the Kansas City Chiefs. They play to the bell rings.
11 minutes to go in the ball game. This is Palmer, who had a disastrous fumble. He's got some room. Palmer to the 10 and out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Castile bumped him down, and Palmer did a good job of reading the fact that the hole was closed and popping outside.
And you know, the entire second half, Gary, he's been waiting to atone for the costly fumble down in Denver territory. Watch it now. He gets inside. I think they lose him. He's only 5'9". They don't know where he is, and suddenly here he comes. He has great speed. He gets on the corner and watch him stiff arm the tackler, Jeremiah Castile, and that gives him a first down goal inside the 10-yard line.
Well, Kenny had the ball club down here in the first series of the afternoon and ended up with an interception at the goal line. He has not thrown a touchdown pass this season. Goes to Christian Okoye, who gets to the 6-yard line into the grasp of Andre Townsend.
I don't like the play. It's just nothing happening on that play all game long. It's a wasted play. Let's get the football to the people now who are hot. That's Palmer, Carson, and Page. All right, here's the third phase of the battles, the special teams, and I would say right now that, of course, the Broncos probably have the advantage here. They have, well, let's call this a wash, Gary. Let's call this one a wash right now.
Second down and goal for Kansas City. Chiefs trail this one 17-8 in Denver. Denver fans trying to push the noise level up a bit as Palmer looks for the seam, stumbling, still on his feet. Still on his feet, and will end up with about a yard loss for all of his effort. Dennis Smith and Mark Haynes doing a good job there of helping string that one out before they could make the tackle along with Simon Fletcher. Also saw Rick Dennison in there.
Another look at that play there as they do a good job of containing the outside, and good pursuit as they get over there and they hold Palmer to almost no gain.
Ball is spotted just inside the 8-yard line, where it now becomes third down and goal. 9.5 minutes to go in the ball game.
I would have been throwing the football. I'm sorry. I would take a couple of shots with Kenny throwing the football. It's just too tough now to come back and have to throw it on third down into the end zone.
This is a team that has only one touchdown rushing this season, and Kenny hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in his sack. At the 17-yard line, Rulon Jones, number 75, cranking up the crowd a little bit. The first sack by Denver in this ball game.
And Bill Kenny enjoyed pretty good protection that time. I just think that they waited too late to throw this football, and there isn't a lot of room to maneuver down here, so the receivers are limited in what they can do. Now that's Irv Eatman, number 75, that gets beaten on the play by Rulon Jones, who has been relegated to second-string status now here with the Broncos.
That's now a club record for career sacks for Jones at 72.5. Barney Chavis had the old record. Right now for Kansas City, 34-yard field goal attempt from Nick Lowry, and Lowry has his third one of the day. So the Chiefs get the 3 points. They're back within striking distance. It's 17-11, and we have 8 minutes and 50 seconds yet to play. 72.5 sacks, the all-time Broncos sack leader. Barney Chavis held the previous mark, but that's only the 4th sack of the season for Rulon Jones.
Barney Chavis, by the way, is now an assistant coach with the Denver Broncos,
along with another fine former player, Craig Morton. From the goal line, Ken Bell to run this one out for the Broncos. Got a head of steam going as he gets across the 30 and down at the 38-yard line. That's a nice run back right there, and that's the kind that can help not only get the crowd in it, but spur your teammates.
Big return. You know, the purpose of special teams, particularly the return team, is that's actually the first offensive play. And a guy who can put you in good field position like Ken Bell does here with this return. He just takes that thing and he blows right up into the hole and gets good yardage.
38 yards on the return. It was McLean who finally was able to pull him down. The Broncos start from the 38 with 8:39 to go in the ballgame. Denver leading by 6, 17-11. Touchdown pass, one for Elway. Winder with a touchdown, and Carlos with a field goal. Here's the little screen being set up by the Broncos, and Sammy Winder at midfield gets into Kansas City territory. Albert Lewis is there to make the tackle. That's the first time that Winder has caught a pass today.
And that's the first time that the Broncos make use of what we call a middle screen. Everybody sets up just as if it's passed. Now watch everybody in the middle just sort of hold their ground, and they let the white shirts go by. And now these guys say, oh, no, oh, it's a middle screen. And good blocking right there. Watch Winder make the good move to the right and picks up more than enough yardage for a first down.
Rookie Perry and the veteran Billy Bryan, the two key blocks on that screen. From the 49-yard line, Kansas City territory, Winder again for about 3, maybe 4 as he gets to the 45-yard line, and Neil Smith has him in the grass. Jack Del Rio helping out as well, number 50. 7:44 to go. New Orleans and Washington are now even, 24 apiece in the fourth quarter. No change between Seattle and Buffalo. And no change in the other late games. In this one, Denver has the advantage at 17-11 over Kansas City. The Chiefs have been involved in so many close games this year. Sammy Winder now has carried 14 times for 47 yards in this ball game. Jackson in motion. Winder can carry for the 15th time, and he has Wood inside the 40 to the 37. They open up a nice hole in the center of the line that time. Deron Cherry and J.C. Pearson finally there to make the tackle. But again, center of that line doing a good job, Reggie.
Well, that's good action in the backfield. The Broncos actually start flow one way. Then watch Winder go back inside, and they're getting good cutoff blocks by the middle of that offensive line. Gerald Perry and, of course, Billy Bryan doing a nice job inside, particularly on the nose tackle, Baldinger.
We haven't seen big rushing numbers in this game by either team, but the rushing defense for both of these clubs are the two worst in the National Football League, ranked 27th and 28th against the run. This is Tony Dorsett. He had a touchdown run nullified by a penalty. Nothing happening at all with 6:23 to play on that one. Let's check headliners on this week of action, the 10th week of the NFL season. Boy, there have been some startling performances. Very impressive numbers put up in a couple of games today.
There's a guy having a career, Eddie Brown, 7 receptions,
Look at that.
216 today.
Boy, receivers got to love that. And over 1,000 yards already,
games,
10 weeks into the season. And the Dallas Cowboys, long time. Ike was president the last time they lost 6 in a row. There are a lot of people, I'm sure, that probably don't even know the name Dwight Eisenhower. A lot of young people. Still alive. Sewell trying to make something happen at the 32-yard line. Pulled down by Tim Cofield and Dino Hackett. John Stevens with another 100-yard performance, and Flutie still at the controls. The Patriots beat Miami today, and look at the numbers for Wade Wilson.
Anthony Carter having I love those receivers having those big days.
Could you tell me right off the top of your head the biggest day you had in your 13 years in the NFL?
Yes.
What would it be?
173, I think.
173.
Yeah.
Pretty good day's work.
I had it right here in my wallet.
17-11. Broncos with the football and the lead. 5:03 to go. Elway out of the shotgun. All kinds of time. Now he has to do some maneuvering, and he may be in trouble. He avoids one man. Finally gets it away, and it's incomplete at the 18-yard line. Jason Johnson was the man he finally elected to go to.
Elway took a tough hit after releasing that football. He is getting up very slowly.
D. Hardison, number 93, and Leonard Griffin, 98, with the push up the middle, chasing Elway out of the pocket. He has that dimension. We've seen it so many times in the last few years, being able to elude that pressure.
And for a guy who's coming off injury, you know, he's taken some hits today, but he's gotten up, and he's very strong. You see him get away from D. Hardison there with one hand. That was Neil Smith, number 90, who is really showing some outstanding pursuit here today.
Rich Carlos has come on once again, and this attempt is going to be about 49 yards. Trying to again push the advantage. Oh, we've got a missed snap. The ball is pounced on by Kubiak. That ball never got back to the holder. And Kansas City gets a great opportunity now on the muff field goal opportunity.
And here we go.
You wonder about the injury if Keith Bishop was in there trying to snap with that bad hand.
Well, Bishop was in there.
If that had something to do. At any rate, the Broncos don't get the field goal. The Chiefs get the ball, and with 4:48 to go, they still have hope. The muffed snap on the field goal attempt by the Broncos has resulted in Kansas City getting the football with 4:48 to go. Chiefs trail 17-11. Kenny has been able to move the ball club. They just haven't been able to score with the offense. Palmer works from the near side. Sidesteps one man and gets across the 40 and then out of bounds at about the 42. And let's go back now and see if we can see the problem on the snap.
Well, the right hand of Bishop's is the power hand. That snaps the ball. But the left hand, the one that has the cast on it, is the one that guides the football to the man who places it for the place kicker in. There's number 54, Keith Bishop. He's trying to do the best he can.
That cast on that left hand.
I mean, that thumb is what controls the football.
Well, you know, he's got to be a frustrated footballer right now.
That's a good play, by the way, first down play to get the football out there to Paul Palmer and pick up a good yardage situation there. 2nd and 5 now.
Just short of the 42. Kenny in trouble. Down at the 41-yard line. Second sack. Kenny looking, and that apparently would indicate that all of his receivers were covered. Simon Fletcher, number 73. Been hearing a lot from him in this ball game today.
Broncos go to a zone defense this time. They double cover both outside receivers. Watch number 73, Simon Fletcher, with the good coverage downfield. Kenny can't find anybody to throw the football to. You can see the long arm of the law there. Number 73, Simon Fletcher, reaching in there and sacking Bill Kenny.
David Lutz held him off for as long as he could, and then finally Fletcher was able to get in there.
And Fletcher has had an outstanding ball game for Denver today.
6 defensive backs for the Broncos with 4:15 to play. Kenny fires, and that one was almost picked off by Randy Robbins, and had he been able to hang on, that would have been the easiest touchdown of his career. But he wasn't able to hang on, and so now the punting unit comes on for Kansas City.
Robbins wasn't looking because he just knew Kenny wasn't throwing the football to the guy he had covered, because you can see he's right between the receiver and the football, and had he caught that, I mean, that's 7 points.
Kelly Goodburn coming on to punt. Forced into this duty today. Ricky Nattiel stands back at the 19-yard line. 4:11 to go. Chiefs got a break when they got the football, and look at this punt. Oh, is this a beauty? It hits at the 2. No chance to down it. It goes into the end zone, but he really banged that one out there. Goodburn with some big boots today. He likes the thin air. 59 yards on that one as the Broncos will bring it out to the 20-yard line. We have 4:01 to go in this ball game. Let's double-check scores. Buffalo has a little cushion now as they pushed it to 10 over Seattle. And remember, Seattle comes in leading the AFC West. So if Seattle loses that one and Denver hangs on to win, whole new situation in the division. Phoenix within 13 of San Francisco. No change between the Jets and Indianapolis.
I'm going to see Denver bring in Dorsett because they want to run the football. They've got 2 tight ends in there. This is a power offensive formation here. They want to control the football on the ground and eat up the clock.
After a career-long 59-yard punt, now we've got Dorsett getting a quick 6 yards on the first play for the Broncos in this series, out to the 26-yard line before Mike Stensrud would make the tackle.
You know, I've got to agree with Dan Reeves. I think Dorsett can still be a productive back. I mean, he's still hitting that hole quickly, and we saw what kind of speed he has.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. The game is the property of the National Football League. Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs, all rights are reserved. 3:23 to go. Denver with a football and a 6-point lead at 17-11. Nattiel in motion, handoff. Tony Dorsett has that little counter move, and he gets close to the first down as he gets to the 29-yard line.
Continuing on with Dorsett, he's always been a runner who is a breakaway back. He has to be given the hole. I mean, he's going to break some tackles, but he's not the kind of halfback that you expect to go in and knock people down and knock people over like a Bo Jackson. So when given the opportunity, we saw earlier that Dorsett can still be a difficult man to handle out of the backfield.
Chiefs are going to take a timeout at this point. That'll be their first of the 3 that are allowed in this half to stop the clock with 3:09 to go. It's imperative for Frank Gann's ball club to get the football back and try to generate a touchdown. Conceivably could put them into the lead. Tonight, Tom Brokaw anchors Campaign Countdown, previewing Tuesday's presidential race. It'll be on NBC News, and then come home to the best in comedy with Family Ties, followed by Day by Day. And that's in turn followed by the NBC world premiere miniseries, The Great Escape 2, A Story Untold. Christopher Reeve and Judd Hirsch star, all tonight only on NBC.
Question for you. When Dorsett retires, where does he go? In the Wall of Fame in Dallas or the Ring of Fame in Denver? Or both places?
Interesting question. He may well qualify for 2, because I don't think he's going to retire just yet.
No.
He's going to have some numbers here in a Broncos uniform. Elway going for the first down. Looks like he has it. So keeping the ball, John Elway, and a big play that one is. 3 minutes to go. Fresh set of downs now for the Denver Broncos, who have the lead at 17-11. Dan Reeves, some emphatic words there for Orson Mobley, the tight ends, as Mobley now goes back onto the field.
Of course, he may have seen something that he didn't like, whether the ball carrier was carrying the ball loosely or what, but he wants people to know that, look, this is a game-winning drive. We must protect the football, and most importantly, we have to get the Chiefs off the line of scrimmage so those backs can get into the hole securely. You don't want people reaching and grabbing and stripping at your ball carrier, because that's what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be doing now, because they need the football.
Elway has come over to the sideline.
There is no timeout signal by Kansas City. We'll reset the clock to 30 seconds. No timeout. It is first down.
With the ball to 31 as Elway gets the ball club set now. This will be the first down play. Broncos have Cleveland at home next week, then at New Orleans, and then the LA Rams. So it's not going to be easy in the next few weeks for the Broncos, who keep their division hopes alive. On the ground, of course, Dorsett. Look at that slashing through there. I'm sorry, that's Sammy Winder. Called the wrong man with the football. Mike Stenford with the tackle, and Winder, who's been the workhorse for Elway and the Broncos when they've been on the ground today, makes them down closer to the 2-minute warning. And now the Chiefs will take a timeout with 2:09 to go.
And Gary, with all of the great records that are in the Central Division of the AFC, and the huge lead that Buffalo has in the Eastern Division of the AFC, you don't expect a wild card team to come out of the West. The Western team represented for the playoffs probably must win their division.
Here's what the Chiefs have in store for them. Cincinnati, Seattle, Pittsburgh, New York Jets. Chiefs really needing to establish something to build on, and they feel they've been close. We mentioned the upcoming schedule for the Broncos.
If they get through that, they belong in the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now.
And Reeves said coming in that this was a gut check this week. He really wished he had the answers, but he didn't. And I thought one of his interesting remarks was he didn't think that Monday night's performance was quite as bad as it looked. He said they just had to find a better way to prepare themselves. Wasn't going to panic. Didn't make the wholesale changes. And right now they're in a position to win a ball game, leading 17-11 and trying to run out the clock. This play should take us to the 2-minute warning, going straight ahead and across the 40-yard line. So play will be stopped at the 2-minute warning right now. 17-11 remains the score. Broncos have that 6-point advantage, and they'll have the football when we come back in a moment.
AT&T, the right choice.
America's favorite pack.
2 minutes to go. Broncos with the football on the 6-point advantage, and it would look like at this point that Denver has done what they had to do and get themselves right back in the middle of this division race, with Seattle on the losing side, or it's not yet official, against Buffalo.
There's a team I think we're overlooking, and we shouldn't. I think the Los Angeles Raiders are playing good football. I think they have a favorable schedule going down the stretch, and we shouldn't count them out of the AFC West race.
Raiders will be playing against San Diego in one of the late games today. And if Seattle indeed ends up losing, Broncos hang on here in the last 2 minutes, they'll be 5-5 with the Raiders yet to be heard from tonight against San Diego. And the Raiders could also be right in the thick of this thing. We could be looking at a 3-way tie after the day is over. Sammy Winder again. He's still on his feet, trying to crawl around there and get a couple of extra yards to about the 44. Kevin Porter with the stop. Let's check the report cards on this ball game and see who's done what thus far. No major numbers, nothing to really dazzle you in this ball game, not by any stretch of the imagination. Carson with 4 receptions, 51 yards. He had that one disastrous fumble. Elway has gone for under 200 yards today, had 2 interceptions.
Not an offensive masterpiece. The guy that I think has been very instrumental in this game, if Denver should go on to win it, has been Simon Fletcher, the left outside linebacker of the Denver Broncos. He's been all over the place, knocking down passes, getting sacks. He's been very impressive.
To those viewers who have just joined us for the Campaign Countdown program, please stay tuned. Campaign Countdown will be seen immediately following football, except for the Mountain and Pacific time zone stations, where the program will be seen at its regular time. Final score now in. Buffalo has defeated Seattle 13-3. That's a final on that one. Kansas City now out of timeouts after stopping the clock with 1:53 to go. Second down for the Broncos. This is Dorsett working the left side. Gets around the corner. Oh my. Down to the 41-yard line and another first down. And that puts a little frosting on the cake for Dan Reeves.
So that's what I'm talking about. When people start talking about Tony Dorsett being washed up, you can see flashes of brilliance there. Even at 34 years of age, he probably is still one of the quicker backs in the National Football League. Good blocking here. Dorsett, they get him outside. He makes a good step move right there. Now watch the explosion. Then up inside, and he stays in bounds.
16 yards on the pickup, keeps the clock going. Kansas City can't stop it. Nice lead block that time by Vance Johnson, too, as Dorsett turned that corner. And now it may be time to go down on the knee for Elway with 1 minute and 6 seconds to go. Indeed, he does just that at the 41-yard line. Got to be so frustrating for Frank Gans and the Kansas City Chiefs. They have been in almost every ball game, but they just can't come up with a one to get them over the hump and get the win. And this is going to be a key victory here for the Denver Broncos. Now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP, Simon Fletcher of the Denver Broncos. The strong outside linebacker Dan Reeves says he's having a Pro Bowl type season, and certainly he's had a very effective one today. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. Well, the countdown continues. You see those final seconds ticking away. This one is over, even though the clock continues to wind down. Frank Gans coming over to congratulate Dan Reeves. Gans will try to find a way to motivate his ball club and look ahead as they go in action next week against Cincinnati. That'll be no easy task, and the Broncos will get set for Cleveland. And boy, that's going to be a tough one as well. Our final score is 17-11. So Elway and the Broncos have come back. They've managed to even up their record. And like you say, Reggie, in that AFC West, could be a whole new situation.
I'd call this a tourniquet win for Denver. You know, they stopped the bleeding. They had been embarrassed, humiliated the last couple of weeks, and now they're back in the thick of things. They're 5-5. They're tied with the Seattle Seahawks. The Los Angeles Raiders have yet to play, and Dan Reeves is still in it. For the Kansas City Chiefs, I think Frank Gans has a right to be proud of his football team. They still give everything they have from start to finish. They're a tough outfit, and they aren't going to be an easy game for anybody.
3 field goals and a safety account for the Kansas City total of 11. Elway had 1 touchdown pass of 6 yards to Vance Johnson in this one. Then it was Winder going 1 yard for a score, and it was Carlos with a 43-yard field goal to account for the 17 points for the Broncos. We'll be back to continue our recap from Mile High Stadium in just a moment.